Hi guys, come with me. Today's adventure, we're at the Glenstone Gallery. Plenty of architecture here, so we're gonna go explore. This is like Black Mirror type. Inside feels like a labyrinth where the corridors twist and bend, some narrow, some wide. These are all washed into this soft, diffused light that seems to come from nowhere and everywhere. So the talk that I'm trying to get to today, he's an abstract expressionist, but they have this really beautiful Zen garden here. That art piece right there is 5 tons of solid glass. The gray monotony is broken by this focal point, which is a pond that is cradled in the courtyard where 500 water lilies imported from Monet's own garden. So this green burst of yellow and white stood against the concrete. Heavy, stark walls and the lack of signage, the ambient hush, it reorganizes you. They impose a kind of monastic discipline that slows you down, not because you asked to, but because you were forced to. And that is intentional. It is control masquerading as serenity, prestige performing as peace. The architecture is the ideology. Brutalism was born after war, and this meant to be an egalitarian, practical, honest, but it reabsorbed by wealth turned into a fortress-like institutions that whisper that you can come in, but not too close. Glenstone doesn't invite you to belong, it invites you to revere. And reverence here is just another form of distance. The grit commodified into a tourist attraction. You can look, but you can't touch. You can consume the aesthetic of struggle, but you don't get to live inside the power. The question haunts me, are we fighting for a better system or a better seat at the table? Because the system isn't broken for people who built Glenstone. It works, it rewards hoarding, it incentivizes scarcity. It gives the illusion of generosity while protecting access. We're taking a little lunch break. I got this prosciutto fig. Everything here is art. I had to be really sneaky because they're very strict on filming and taking photos, but there's definitely a whole philosophy on the brutalist type architecture and the juxtaposition of nature. Everything is so curated. But anyway, let's try this flatbread. I think it's mozzarella or burrata.
Is it good? Yeah, you did a good job.
It has, it's almost like flambéed figs, prosciutto, and it's really good. Balsamic vinaigrette, and I forgot what these are called. Microgreens. So while I was inside, it was very interesting. It was a bit dark, like their installations had deeper meanings, and it felt a little dystopian or like post-apocalyptic, you know? And the pond was this focal point where they imported 500 of these lilies from Monet's pond. And it was the only color that you will see there because the rest were just like monochromatic. They had these LED installations.
It definitely makes you feel something there. I'm gonna show you guys around. It's this beautiful patio, and the cafe is there. But they had a restaurant, and the restaurant was just in the middle of the forest. Everything, it blends into nature, and the tables there were communal. It's definitely had this vision of future Earth, or people that are left in the future Earth. There's this sense of curation. This place is very tucked in, like it's very hidden, and it's very selected, like when they would come out, because you have to either be invited here or you set up an appointment. And a lot of the luxury places that people buy art, these are assets for them, right? They either go to Miami or they go to New York, but otherwise you have to be liked, like who likes you to invite you to these certain places. And there is this language of the elites where if they don't like you, you're not a part of their group, their clique. It's if you know, or who likes you, that gives you that leverage to be a part of these exclusive groups. A lot of times, what being wealthy or opulent is, it's the quality of your character. So the quality of your character, you end up gravitating the people who are also into those interests. A lot of times they're very much into art, they're into exotic animals, they're into architecture, they're into music. I think the biggest irony now is having the luxury to do the things that you like. It's having that nervous system that is calm. I am a spark learner. That means that I learn from my environment. So today I was learning about pond aquatic systems. I am just so curious. I mean, I have a Gemini stellium, I have an Aquarius stellium, so whatever I do, I learn about life that way. And I'm always out exploring things. So I learned a lot about ponds and algae today, and architecture and art. So the second building, they had a lot of iconoclastic styles of art pieces. Like what they call art now, contemporary art, doesn't really feel like art. It feels like trash. And it's really what we give value to. There's no mastery anymore. The gallery is pretty big, and they have golf carts that tour you around these sculptures and these buildings. The sculpture is by the artist named Tony Smith.
He was this architect turned sculptor that uses large-scale geometric works that are built from industrial materials such as steel and aluminum. So as you walk around, it almost gives you that perspective to alter the meaning as you move around it. It is a 230-acre land, and it is one of the wealthiest, most valuable private galleries in the world, placing it in the same financial league as Metropolitan Museum of Art or the Modern Museum of Art, MoMA, in New York. Much of that valuation comes from its world-class contemporary collection, rumored to have a lot of the Jackson Pollock, Jasper Johns, Jeff Koons, Basquiat, Rothko, Marcel Duchamp, and these pieces alone can be worth tens of hundreds of millions each. I wrote a full Substack post about my review of this place and what were my ponderings while I was there. I will link it down below so you can read it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for our next adventure.